Good morning. Yes, I am live. Sorry, just needed to double check that. Hope everyone's well and having a really lovely weekend. It's really nice actually doing these over the weekend because I know that obviously people are busy, so it's really great that we can do these on a Saturday and Sunday. So we'll just be doing these up to Wednesday. We've got three after this one today. We've got three more. Then it's the countdown, and then it's our September market, which is really exciting. So let's see if we can find who we need to speak to today. I know that she's got rid of the kids this morning, so hopefully that's joined already. Hello. So not there just yet. So we can just October, did I say the wrong day? Oh. Right, Dobby and Rose, there we go. Let's have a look. So yeah, I've just Finboard Fabric. Sorry, I've just invited you. Let's try that again. Right, okay, let's see. Sunday, we're all a bit like waiting for things to happen. So we've let's have a look. There seems to be, right, okay, cool. I think she should be here. If by magic, come on. Come. Right, what's going on? Right, send the request again. And I know she's there. So you just need to accept the request. And I don't know what's going on this morning. It's doing it. Oh, okay. So she's unable to join, which is very strange. So let's have a look. Beck, if you are there, maybe send a request to me to join this. And if hopefully as well, I have sort of said, but using your iPad or phone doesn't work on a computer. Just top tip there. I think I have said that. But let's have a look. Oh, God.
Oh, dear. Oh, sorry, give you a heart attack. Apologies.
Oh, God almighty. Oh,
oh dear.
Oh.
Panic over. You're all right.
Honestly, sometimes, oh my God, I'm going to cry. Sometimes things that happen in the morning with these, sometimes, as you might have seen, is quite funny. So please. Yeah, it's really nice to see you finally. I know we're
I know, hooray!
Yeah, why we haven't seen you. So please introduce yourself and tell us who you are and what you make and sell.
Okay, so I'm Rebecca and I run Dobby and Rose, and I am a weaver, so I make fabric and I primarily make homeware. So I make lampshades, cushions, but the other big part of the business is that I teach. So I teach people how to weave as well. So the teaching side of it is a really key thing and very important to me because I love to share the craft. I think it's amazing. It's something that I think a lot of people benefit from in many ways, which obviously I can go into more detail in a minute. But yeah, so that is primarily what we do here at Dobby and Rose.
Fantastic. And also it's great because we have like yourself and other people that do the events, and you know, they're selling what they sell, but then also they do workshops. I know for one, when the dates are coming out for Parkgate Pottery, we desperately want to get over there as well. So maybe that me and Rob might do, because yeah, we've got things going on next year. We want to do lots of different things, so we might be signing up to do something with you, which would be really great.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, now we can. You know,
exactly. Now we're actually allowed out again.
Yeah, no,
so,
it's just catch it. That's what happened, was it? People just catching up with all the, you know, you almost had a year of, you know, all these people you had to catch up with again, wasn't it? So, so why did you set up your business, and how did you come up with your business name?
So I trained as a weaver quite a long time ago at uni, and it was funny, I didn't actually go to uni thinking I was going to do weave at all. I thought I was going to be a screen printer, and then in the first year you had to do 6 weeks of print, 6 weeks of weave, and I thought, oh, you know, love the print, did that first, loved it, thought, oh, weave, waste of time, don't want to do that, and then did the 6 weeks and got completely hooked, and I decided, no, that's where my passion is, that's what I'm going to focus on. So I did that for 3 years at uni, and then after that went into the industry. I went up to London, worked for a fabric company, but sort of got more into the management and really missed being hands-on and creative. And then had my family, so by the time I had number two, I decided London wasn't for me anymore and thought, no, I really want to sort of set it from home, carry on making. But from the management, love the teaching element. So I love teaching. And I said to my hubby, I said, you know, what could I teach? And he said, well, why don't you teach people how to weave? And I said, but no one would want to do that. It's, you know, that's not interesting. And I was very surprised very quickly. A lot of people wanted to do it, which was great. So that's kind of then how the business evolved. I then, started working from home, and started doing the workshops because people did have that passion. And it's a lovely thing that I can do, the making and then the teaching as well. So, and then the Dobby and Rose element came from, when I was thinking of the business name, I said the two key things to the business is obviously the studio, which is called Rose Studio, which is after my grandma. So she, you know, without her, I wouldn't have been able to do the studio. And then the Dobby bit is the loom that I've got, which is next door, which I can show you in a minute. It's called a Dobby loom. So that's the two bits, Dobby and Rose. So that's how we go together.
Lovely, lovely. And, you know, as I keep saying, I think it's really nice to find out about the business name, isn't it? That,
that's it.
You know,
although it is quite funny because often I'm at events with my mum as well, so very kindly my helper, and people come up to us and they say, which one's Dobby, which one's Rose? And I'm like, no, neither of them. So it's quite entertaining. Yeah.
We get it all the time. Which one's Dapper and which one's Suave? And it's like,
exactly.
You know, we're both there, you know, but people kind of know us anyway. And many times, people who don't actually know our names, and you know, we were introduced to the day at Love Reigate. We saw Crumbs Brewery guy, and he was like, "Hello, Mr. Dapper and Suave," you know, and it's right, you know, at least
it's very funny.
So, whereabouts are you based, and where is your workspace?
So I am in Churt, so not far outside of Farnham. I'm about 10 minutes away from Farnham, and I'm very lucky that I've got my studio in my garden, so I just have to commute down my garden, which is great. So I run it all from here, so all the workshop sessions, they're run from here, and then I've also got, as I say, my studio at the back that then I can work in as well, so very handy that I don't have to go very far.
Yeah, I bet you must love the commute.
I know, it's lovely, it's great with my cup of tea in hand, walk down the garden. And it's also a lovely sanctuary where I can run away from the house and I can shut the doors, lock myself in here. So yeah, it's great.
Yeah, getting away from the kids, I'd imagine.
Yeah, exactly.
Lock the door. So and I know this one's very hard sometimes. Have you a favourite item to create, and why have you chosen that?
So anything woven I absolutely love doing, so it's quite hard to pick. I love doing the lampshades, especially when I'm making them for customers when they're commissioned pieces, because they are always unique. You're never ever going to get the same one again, and it's really lovely to sort of design things according to people's interiors. So it would be lovely sort of to look at their interior, into their room, into their space, and we sort of look at the colour and the detail, and we might just pick out certain elements and just add these hints of colour into the shade, and it's amazing how it all comes together. And I feel so lucky to then take those shades to the customer's home and, you know, put them in place, and you can just see immediately everything's pulled together and it just comes to life. And it's, I feel very privileged to be able to do that for somebody, and so it's not just, you know, taken off the shelf like so many items are these days. So yeah, and it's really, you know, one thing that we're learning about with our events and that as well, isn't it? It's so great that you can have something that nobody else has. So somebody comes to your house and says, I like that lampshade, and you can go, it's a one piece. You're not going to go to whatever shop to buy it, and it's a really nice thing that I think people are really kind of buying into that as well, and the fact that they see that you've made it and you can tell your story, can't you, when you're there at it. Well, and I think there has been this huge sort of transition where people are now starting to look for things that are made locally,
Yeah.
and also that, you know, it's just not shipped in, and we are, you know, you can really see the love and the care that goes into the piece. And I think when people put those into their home, they feel completely differently about it. I mean, I'm very lucky, obviously, you know, doing events like yours and others, that you get to meet so many amazing small sort of businesses and local makers, and things that I've bought from them, I've got them in my home. Every
Yeah.
time you see them, they tell a story, or, you know, you just feel like you completely understand what love and care has gone into that product. And it just makes your home feel very different. So yeah, it's a lovely thing to
Definitely,
do.
definitely, and you know, I think you understand. You know, what we when we bring people together, it's the same kind of people that have that passion for what we do. And even when I was at the September event, there were a couple of stores I didn't buy from. I was like, oh, okay, but they're back for October.
Yeah,
And there was
yeah,
bits I
that's
wanted to
it.
buy. I
Yeah,
just, you know, I'd go over, but then they'd be busy. But you know, there's things that I've got my eye on because, you know, there's things that are important to me because I know that what goes into it, and you know, even when it's
yeah,
skincare or whatever, it's really really
that's it.
important to know what it is. So, have you been working on anything new this year at all?
Well, I have, which is very exciting. So I've been thinking about my Christmas products already, as many of us already are.
Yeah.
And obviously, I know October, we're not quite there with Christmas, so I'm very lucky to be doing then your November and December events. So I'm looking at what, you know, things I will be bringing. And very excitingly, I can show you a sneaky peek of a fabric that I'm
Oh
doing,
wow.
which is a
Love it.
lovely festive fabric. So I'm working on that at the moment, and I'm going to be doing some stockings this year, which is very exciting. So yeah, so for Christmas, woven stockings. So that's, yeah, currently what I'm working on. But also
Wow.
I've got a couple of new fabrics as well that I'm doing for lampshades and cushions this year. So yeah, so bringing some other new exciting things too. So
And
yeah.
and I love that as well because you know, really with regards to the later ones with our December one, I really want to shout out about, you know, like, so you can get a stocking from you, and
Yeah.
then you can fill it with gifts all
That's
around with
it.
different things, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, exactly.
we're talking on the news at the moment, and there's all this thing that, you know, oh, there's going to be no toys for the children and all of that stuff. And it's like, you know, come along to our events and buy stuff for the children.
Well,
There,
that's
you know,
it, exactly. Come local, and you can do all your Christmas shopping on one hit. So yeah, definitely.
exactly.
Yeah,
And I think as well, isn't it? What's great with you is you can then, with the events you're doing, of tailor them so that, you know, you can kind of
yeah,
stock it coming and get a
yeah.
feeler of what people want, which is really,
That's
really
it.
good. So as
Exactly.
you know, we have an ethos about being, you know, creative, unique and friendly. I think I did it in
Yeah.
another order there, just to mix it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Is there an ethos or a saying that's something that you kind of work with as such?
For me, especially like I touched on earlier with the workshops, my passion is, as I say, making weaving accessible to so many people. That's the reason why I do the workshops, because with weaving, it's a craft that it's, you know, it's quite a heritage craft, and it is something that could just disappear quite easily.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
you know, that's why I love to share it, because it's got to be something that I pass on to somebody else, and then
mm,
hopefully, you know, they will pass it on to the next generation, and it will just keep going. Because as we say, it's not a craft that you could just sort of pick up straight away. It's very technical, it's quite complex, and by me sort of sharing my passion for something, if that means that I've passed that on to somebody else, and it means that they're doing something then that they love and they can really get into, you know, that means the world to me.
yeah,
um,
sure.
it's definitely, that's kind of my big thing. It's just sharing. If you've got a skill that you can pass on, I think it's a great thing, to not keep it to yourself, you know, spread it
Yeah,
out. Also, as well, encouraging the next generation. It's like, what I love is when I go to events, I always take my loom with me, and I'm
yeah,
always demonstrating. And children absolutely love coming to watch what you're doing, because they don't get the chance now. You know, they're all on screens, and
yeah.
they just don't actually get the chance to see things being made. And they will stand there in awe of what I'm doing. And the best comment I ever had was from a little girl. She was with her dad, and as they sort of left, she turned around and said to her dad, "That's exactly what I want to do when I grow up, Dad. I
Oh,
want to be a farmer." And you know, that just, you know, that
yeah,
to me is everything that I ever want to do. You know, and if that's just given her that little, planted that little seed of, you know, where she might blossom to, you know, later on, you know, to me that's everything. So yeah, that is definitely the key reason why I do what I do. That's why I'm doing it.
And I think what you've just said there, and also, we talk about mentors and working with people, and hopefully there's somebody that that you might be working with that can carry on, because it's really important, isn't it, as the future generation, for them to understand, and especially kids at the moment. I think they're getting a little bit clued on about what goes into it. It's not just about, and I keep saying the word, like, running into Primark and buying a load of rubbish as such.
Yeah,
It's really
exactly.
understanding it. And sometimes
Yeah,
I've seen it where the kids are almost teaching the adults about it, where they might
yeah,
stop, look at yours and go, oh, it's an Amcade Weather, and then, oh, actually how it's made. And I think we're so
that's it.
about shopping, about, yeah, I can just buy what I like, but actually understanding the
Yeah,
process,
yeah, exactly. That's it.
that
And
goes
because
into it.
yeah, because as you say, everything it's just churned out now. Is
Yeah,
whenever I am doing, an example at a show and sort of, showing people how it's made, they sort of say, God, you're putting through every single thread by hand. And I said, yeah, I am. And then they get that appreciation of, why obviously you've got to charge that bit more for your product, because then they realise, the time and all the effort that goes into making that piece. So,
yeah.
so it's always, very enlightening for people when they can actually see what you're doing.
And do you know, you really touched on something. I think I talk about it a lot at the beginning when we started as Dapper Suave, and what we charge. And I think, to be honest, sometimes I kind of go, oh, that's too whatever. And then Rob would really kind of, like, really kind of know, kind of the time,
I know, that's
effort, and
it.
then and also, isn't it, where I kind of say to when our events, and I don't think people now are very much put off by the price. And also,
Yeah,
as like yourself, you can just come back and go, right, this is what goes into it. That
yeah,
lampshade has taken, so many hours, and it's
yeah,
being brave to actually to stand up and to believe in it. And
yeah.
somebody want to buy it, there'll be somebody else that will,
That's
isn't
it.
it? So
Exactly. That's
yeah,
it. And I think I have noticed that it's been quite a change, quite a shift recently, is that
yeah,
people are willing to invest that much more if they know that it is from someone local, if it has been made, hasn't been shipped in. And then I think people are understanding then the value to that product. They are more willing to buy into it. So yes, I am hoping now that we are kind of moving away from that mass made, that
yeah,
people are now supporting more smaller businesses and craftsmen. So,
yeah.
so yeah, it's definitely a shift.
Yeah, exactly. It's something that I'm, really, really shouting out about. And as you know, and I think you'll probably see a difference when you're at the next events as well.
Yeah,
Because there's a real kind of, we call it, I've actually just had a couple of people who were contacted to work with us, but they're not following us on social media, and I've had to email and saying, what is it you know about us? Because it's not just about
yeah,
coming to our events. It's not about sitting behind the table and not interacting. And yes, now it is about, if you're not going to interact, you're not going to have customer service, then you're not right for
yeah,
our events. And that's really, really,
yeah,
so if you do want to work with us, have the character, have that
yeah,
story, because I know for a fact in September I was out in the foyer, and the feedback I was getting from
yeah,
people who were talking about people in the room, about their products, about their brand, about them telling their story. They loved, and the fact is they spent a lot of time there as well. And that's what we're doing with our next
yeah,
event, making sure that it's a ticketed event as well, as we say, but you can come and go as you want as well. And people,
yeah. That's
there was
it.
one person, they were there for about a good 2 hours, and it was just that
Yeah.
bit of
I know
talking.
it always amazes me at events when you see someone sort of first thing in the morning when they're really
Yeah,
keen, they've come in, then you think, gosh, yeah, like 4 hours later they're still there. And it's like you said, they love to go around and hear everybody's story,
yeah,
hear the
yeah,
process, hear where they've come from, what they're doing. And that is great to have an event where they draw in those types of customers. That's why this event is perfect for me, because you get it, you've got that understanding, and exactly, as makers, the type of customer that you're after. So
yeah.
so
Yep. And that was really great, because we had about 5 people that want to exhibit with us who came along, and some of those exhibitors we were able to say, yes, we can have you for
yeah,
October, and others next year, because of the as we curate it, we can't have too much of the same thing, as you understand. And
yeah,
that was
yeah, yeah,
really nice. One person came along and had got as far as 5 stallholders, bumped into me and
Yeah.
said, I want to be part of this, you know, and like he was there for a good 2 hours. He had a massage and everything that was going on.
Yeah.
So that was really good, and he understood, and that was what he did, was he went round
Yeah.
and spoke to everyone. And then I thought, that's what we want, isn't it? That
Yeah.
interacting, you know, because also I say as well, isn't it, that all of those other exhibitors, they're all, you know, we're all customers as well, aren't we?
Well,
We're
that's it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, definitely. That's it. I think we all spend more than we do get what we actually make because there's too many lovely things there. So,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, what are your goals and dreams for this year?
well, I mean, obviously this year has been so nice to feel like it is getting back to normal.
Yeah,
And so I've ramped up the dates for my workshops towards the end of the year. So I've got lots of people
yeah,
booking in for those, which is great. So really pushing those again. But also just so lovely to get out and do events again and just to be out, be talking to people. So it really is just making the most of these next sort of 4 months, which is always my favourite time of year anyway.
yeah,
I love it. And just to be out and just enjoying and loving again, being out to talk to people and really, you know, showing, you know, hopefully you can see it in, you know, the way that I talk about it and how much, you know, we love what we're doing. So I think as crafts people, we're all really excited to be back out this year. So yeah, so fingers crossed nothing changes for the end of the
no,
year.
no.
I think we're that.
And
So yeah.
I was going to pick up on that as well. Your post of the day really kind of like, wow, it was kind of saying, you know, September, the next 4 months. And it was almost like,
Yeah.
because, you know, people having to understand that all of a sudden it gets really busy for a lot of
It's
people like yourself.
nuts.
And, you know, a lot
Yeah.
of time, and there are people who will be doing events on a Saturday and a Sunday, evening
Yeah.
events and all that. And also, you know, looking at it as well, you know, some of the business as well, it's their bread and butter, it's their income.
Yeah.
And,
That's it.
you know, with last year, there were so many events that never took place. And that's why I shout out about knowing about other events that are going on so people can go
Yeah.
along to those as well. And, you know,
Yeah.
always say, sorry, you know, about community, not competition. It's really, really important.
Yeah.
Say, you know, that time
Exactly.
now, we're really busy, but, you know, and
Yeah.
understanding all what goes into, you know, so when they come and see you and they see what you've
Yeah.
made, there's a lot of time that's gone into making
A lot of time. Well,
yeah,
and I think as well, it's as a small business, you know, you're not just making stuff. You know, you're the accountant, you're the photographer. You know, you've got all these other roles that you have to try and do. And I think being creative, you think, yeah, I can do it all. It's fine. But you know, it's hours and hours and hours of your
yeah,
time. And you know, when you are juggling, you know, obviously young family and things like that, people say, I just don't know how you do it. But I think, you know, I feel very lucky that because it is something that I'm so passionate about and I love doing, it doesn't feel like work. So
yeah,
I'm sort of like, you know, I don't mind working till 11 o'clock because,
yeah,
you know, I'm doing it for me. And so it would be very different if I was going out, you know, having to work for a company again. That would be a completely different story. But yeah, you know, when you're so passionate and, you know, almost at bedtime, I'm like, yes, I could get down to the studio and I can carry on, I can do some more. So yeah, so like you say, there's a lot of hours and a lot of love that goes into just setting up and organising for an
yeah.
event. So yeah.
And it is, you know, when we're
Yeah.
at these events, it's hard work. That the setup, the talking,
Yeah.
you know, constantly having to tell them, you know, about what you make, whatever. It's you know, you get to
Yeah.
about, you know, 3, half 3, and you're just like, ugh.
Yeah, exactly. You are exhausted, and it is. It's then
Yeah,
packing it all back in the car and unloading at the other end. So yeah, it's very physical, that's for sure. Doing all these events, but you get so much out of them. You know, I love it. I love being out, and I think events is kind of one of my most exciting things that I do because I do love talking,
yeah,
and just talking to people who appreciate what you do. You know, and just find it. And I also love that you just never know who's going to walk through the door.
yeah,
You find someone that you think, gosh, you know, I would never imagine I'd have that conversation at an event, and you just never quite know how these connections will start. So yeah, I love doing them. They are great, really good.
yeah, exactly. So who would you say is your support network?
Oh, my family, without a doubt. Gosh, you know, I'm so lucky. My husband, he built the studio for a
Yeah,
start. So if he didn't do that, then I wouldn't be in here. And just obviously, you know, juggling children, but also my mum as well. I have to give huge credit to my mum. A lot of people have seen her out and about with me. And she is hugely supportive as well in what I do. And
yeah,
it's amazing. She's really kind of, you know, taken it on. And because she always admits, she said, I'm not creative at all. But she really has kind of understood exactly what I do. And again, the whole sort of ethos behind what we do and the passion that we've got for the business. So without my husband and my mum, that it just definitely would not be happening as it is. So yeah, I'm hugely grateful for the support I get from them. So
yeah. And also what you've just said there, isn't it, as well? It's when you're at an event and you've got that person with you, and I always say as well, making sure that person understands what you just said about your mum, not necessarily whatever, but she knows what goes into it. So if you were to pop to the toilet or whatever, she could carry on and tell the story about it. Exactly. And I've seen that in our last event where somebody brought her daughter along and whatever, but there was still that passion that she could talk about the product, which I think is really important. It's not just somebody to come along as a day out and they sit behind the store and they're like, ooh,
Yeah, that's it, exactly.
And the great support that you got last year was obviously because you couldn't do
amazing.
both of our events. One,
I know,
you were about to give birth, and then
I know, that's it. I was about to pop last year, so yeah, it was kind of touch and go. I sort of thought, can I do it? Can I do it? And I thought, no, I think actually perhaps I should just stop. I mean, because I was working right up, and people kept saying, how many more days have you got left to go? And I just thought, I'll be fine. I've got that kind of I can do it attitude, but. Yeah, it got to the point where I was like, that's it, I've got to draw the line. I thought, you don't want a baby, appearing at the event. So no, I thought, yeah, we'll draw the line here. So it'd be really exciting to be back out this year. I missed it last year. So,
and hubby was there because, with you understand it as well, because when we talk about our events, we try to sort of say, look, here's the table, but think of it as a shop. And I think, when back in, you were there in 2019 with that.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Craziness. Yeah, but you had your setup and everything, and it was great because you could understand. So you have the lamps and it's all lit up as well, because you need that, don't you? If you've got lampshades, it needs to be lit. So people understand your shop as such, isn't it? And that's people are really. And
I think how you sort of display your stand, it has to really represent what you're doing behind the scenes as well. So sort of even just the way that I had things set up in here, I sort of try and bring that out with me so they can see, whenever they come here, they're going to get the same if they're seeing me sort of out at different events. So, that is your moment where you have to really sort of shine and stand out from everybody else, and to be able to sort of say, this is the standard of the work that I'm actually doing in the studio. So they have to see that as well. I think when you display something, I think there's nothing worse than when you go to a craft fair and you always see things just chucked on a table and you think, this is your moment to really shine, and they're just not fully, benefiting from, from that space they've got. So I work very hard on, making sure everything's perfect, probably a bit too OCD about it, but you want to make sure that things are displayed to the standard that you've made them. So and as I say, to stand out, in amongst everybody else. So yeah.
And also, there's a real good thing as well, which a shout out to all the husbands behind as well, because I know that, you say about setting up the workshops, but there's a lot of things that those poor husbands have to do and make. And, but it's really lovely when you see it, and I've seen some of the way that people have set up their stalls, and I'm like, wow, they've really thought about it and really kind of put but it's the poor husband that's and also there are there are some exhibitors coming up, and I think people might go, oh, and it's like, I have to up my game, but it's about thinking outside the box. It's your brand. Think about if you walk into a shop, and that's what I talk about. So you walk into a shop, and I talk about people, stuffing their face with food. It's fine to eat, but also if you walked into a proper shop,
that's it.
Sales assistant to be kind of, and if they you are eating, sorry, blah blah blah, but interact, but just carry on, stuffing your face with a big sandwich, or ignoring the customers, or and I've been there where I've been to some events as such, and I've stood there as a customer.
That's it. No one speaks to you. It's the worst. So no, I'm very hot on that. I make sure if anyone comes over, I say, if you're happy to browse, if you want to ask any questions, I'm here. But also it's kind of getting that balance. You don't want to pounce on people.
No.
You. So it is getting that real balance, and a bit exactly the same as you. I hate it when you go to shop and people are chatting and they just don't interact. So no, I'm very I've got to make sure that you're alert the whole time. So I'm not on your phone too much either. So that's you sort of do your pictures of your stand and then that's it, phones away, because you don't want to sort of be seen to just be stood there on your phone the whole time. So
And it's really important, as in, you know, both of us are taking our retail backgrounds. You know,
Yeah.
with myself, you know, I was a brand ambassador for French Connection, and you know, not being big-headed, but I did turn that store around. As in, you know, we
Yeah.
had the best, you know, customer service and all of that. You know, and it was about, you know, sometimes I'd come out of the office and the staff, especially on a weekend, and they know what,
Yeah.
you know, they would stand around and their body language, and I would come on, and they would be petrified. But also, you know, it was creating that vibe in the shop that was really great. So the customers, you know, they got it, but there was none of that standing around yapping, and you know,
No,
and it
that's
really,
it.
yeah, and they got it, and you know, it was almost saying, you know, you go, and then sometimes they go, oh, I've just been in such a shop, and they just, you know, they were all chatting. It's like, see, exactly, you know, it's just thinking outside the box is really, really
Yeah.
important. So what
Definitely.
events are you doing with Curated by Dapper and Suave?
So you've got me till the end of the year, which is very exciting. So yeah, October, November, and December, I shall be there. So, and I will be there in person this year. So yeah, there won't be anyone covering, or so no, I will be there. So it's and as I say, October will sort of be my kind of what I call my normal range, and then from November I will start then bringing in all the Christmas items. So yeah, it'll be very exciting when I start doing those. So I'll be bringing back my baubles that I do. They've been very popular each year. So my festive baubles, and also kits as well. So I do little kits so people can make a Father Christmas or a Christmas tree. And yeah, I love doing those. So it's just, yeah, bringing in some other little bits and pieces as well, which are always good fun. So
You just reminded me as well. I love Christmas as well when we're doing the tree and we get all the, and then I go, oh, Dobby and Rose bauble, Esther
yeah, that's
stuff,
it,
and there's all these different people from all the events. And
yeah, that's it.
constantly we would go round, and all of a sudden, and I think this year, I think I will take a photo and tag all of you in it, because there's
Yeah,
so
I
many
know, it's lovely.
on that tree.
Yeah.
It's brilliant, isn't it? It's just, you know, like, yeah, your baubles, they were just so cool. And I was like, I have to.
Yeah, I love doing those.
Yeah,
Well, and it's also with all the fabric that I do, you know, obviously because of the hours that have gone into it, that you don't want to waste a scrap of fabric. So I was sort of thinking again outside the box, you know, what else can I do? And previously I'd done things like cufflinks, and then thought, you know, I'd love to do something festive. And then yeah, the baubles sort of came from that. So it is really using up every little piece that you possibly can. So.
And I know exactly what you mean, because that's what, you know, with us, with Dapper Suave, all of a sudden we got this great, you know, ladies following, you know, and wanted to wear. So with the face masks and all of that,
yeah,
we've now got the cravats, the hair scarf scrunchies, the, you know, the headbands. But sometimes it's that fabric, and you work out.
Yeah, that's it. What can I squeeze in?
Yeah, no, to have that. Oh, there's that wastage there. Right?
Yeah.
From that, no, I'll throw it away. You know, but it's
Yeah,
really thinking about the wastage, and especially nowadays of, you know, we don't want to throw things away. We want to be able to use it somehow, which is really great. So, yeah, sorry, go on. Yep.
No, that's it. Yeah, just agreed. Yeah, in agreement.
And just the last question.
Yeah.
And I love it as well, because I think when I first met you and seeing you in Farm and Malta, I thought, oh my God, I have to have you, because it was so different. And that's what's really lovely about yourself, is because doing the free events is there isn't anyone else out there doing it. But also you're realizing now that if we do find somebody, that you're quite welcome to go, yeah, give them a chance now. And other people have kind of have done that, because, you know, with next year we've got 5 events, and if anyone doesn't know, just to let you know that our Christmas event now is from 11 till 4. We've you know, we have you know, we've changed the times. Originally we were 2 till 6. That's what we were when we were in 2019. This event is back in the Martin Hall, which is really exciting, because this was 2 years ago, and when I look at it, if it wasn't for COVID, we wouldn't be where we are now, and we wouldn't have 140 businesses on the books, and more adding as we go. So, which is really exciting. Yeah, and you're gonna just seeing the new people. With October, we've got 16 brand new businesses joining us, which is it's really exciting. So, why did you choose to work with us?
I think one of the key things was obviously you guys being so passionate and just really understanding as a maker the kind of event that we wanted, because I've been to so many events and they'll say a craft fair or a craft market, and you think, okay, maybe it will be kind of the type of thing that I need, but you turn up and, you know, you'll be next to someone, you know, and no offense to anybody else, but you'll be next to somebody who might be selling, you know, a hairband for a fiver, and then you kind of just the difference in the type of work, you kind of think this isn't the customer who's going to then understand and kind of probably buy you know, what I'm making. So I think with you guys it's very different. You were, as you say, hand picking at that point the people that you felt were right for the event, and picking people who, you know, genuinely were putting their work out at a very high standard. And to me, that, you know, that is exactly why I love your events, because not only are you working against other small businesses who are creating beautiful things, it then means the customers that you're bringing in through the door, understanding obviously what we're making, what we're doing, but also they are willing to invest and buy your things, because they are understanding that, as you say, the people there, they are making that product from scratch, and they're happy to invest in that and pay that bit more money. So for me, that is a key thing. And also because you publicize it so amazingly well, you know, doing things like this on social media, and, you know, you really do push the event really hard and try and get, you know, those customers in the door. So yeah, all of that makes such a difference.
And you know, something really, I mean, probably that you're going to, something that's really exciting that we do now is, and something I need to shout about, is we ask everyone what they make, and it's confidential, it's private, but then we're able to work out from that, you know, what the average spend is based on how many stall holders there are in the category, what the average spend, and because it's ticketed, we can then work out how many people through the door, and then what, you know, that what they've spent, you know, and it's really great because then we've got a database to work with for this year, but based on next year, so we can look at also as well, if you haven't sold very well, why haven't you sold very well? We can ask those. We can then work with them. We can have phone calls, and, you know, if you're not right for our events, then, you know, that's a decision that you need to make. And, you know, and then, you know, there'll always be somebody else, and then, you know, learning, and then, you know, making sure that you're interacting with everyone, and finding out, you know, just interacting as well, which is really important. So, you know, and we can use that information to grow and to see kind of, oh, actually that at that event we need more of, because that's what people would say, or what the vibe was at those markets as well, if that makes sense. So,
yeah, exactly.
You know, we all know Chris, and what's lovely is to see from September the average spend, and all of a sudden see what they're spending at Christmas.
Well, yeah, exactly. That's
you know,
it.
that's really,
September's always the funny one, I find. It's like people are still in sort of back to school mode and holiday, and they're kind of not quite thinking about Christmas. But as soon as you hit October, that's it. It flies, and it goes a bit mental from that point onwards. So yeah, good.
You've got it there as well, because September, believe it or not, there was a lot of women that were meeting up together in little groups and having a little bit. So based on that, do we do it more of a kind of you know, a bit of a pamper, a bit more things going on, a bit more kind of, a bit more, you know, treats as such, but not necessarily aimed at Christmas. So it's all those, you know, and Pete, with you guys giving us ideas of what you think, you know, we're always open up to feedback, to suggestions, to, you know, and also looking at what's going around. So there was a lot of events in September, so we've changed the date to coincide with that. And, you know, and also people just coming each time are going to go, oh, actually, it's different from last time, and that's what we want. You know, we mixed it around. You know, even with you guys, you know, we know what your setup is, but we know where you are in the room, but we might move you somewhere else, but you've still got, you know, exactly, because we know that what your setup is and how it kind of works. So it was really, really great. It's really nice to see you. It's been a
and
while.
You.
God, it was 2019, wasn't it?
I know, ages ago, such a long time ago. So, so no, it'll be so nice to be back. So really looking forward to it. So.
Exactly. So all of this, as we're doing now, it will go on to our Instagram. It'll then go on to our YouTube channel. So you can, anyone there, please go and subscribe. Also, we've put onto our events page now. When you pop onto our events page, subscribe to our newsletter to keep up to date what we're up to, and also with that as well. It goes on to LinkedIn. And also, guys, go and have a look at Dobby Rose's website there as well, and obviously come and get to meet her, see what it is, and her workshops, and you can sign up on the day. There's lots of things going on where people are promoting their workshops, so you can sign up on the day as there as well and get to chat and customize things.
I've also just seen someone's asked, can they see the workshop? So do you want me to take you, do a quick
Oh yeah,
tour
go for
around?
it. Yes,
Have
please.
you
Yeah,
got
go for
time?
it.
Right, okay. Hold on,
Yes.
let me
That's
pick
Rob.
you
That's
up.
Rob. Thank
And
you.
I'm just gonna, I'll do a little turn around so you can see, all right?
Oh,
So here is the studio. So you can
fantastic.
see there's lots of looms, there's lots of things going on up in here. So, and then you've got obviously all the lampshades that side over here.
Wow.
And then through in this room, this is where the big loom is.
Oh my God.
So this is where it all gets made. So today I am threading up all of these threads on here. So you can see down here. So there's this is the fabric for the Christmas stockings going on the loom here. So yeah, so this is Dobby. This is the big loom, and this is where it all happened. So yeah, and it's such an amazing, lovely space to be working in. I'm very fortunate that if people do they want to come and do workshops, there's lots of space for everybody to be in here, and yeah, you can have groups together, which is great. So yeah, lovely space.
How many people can you have in one session in a group?
So, depending on what type of workshop it is, I do what's called a frame loom workshop, which is just a little tiny loom, which is a great sort of starting point for people to get into weaving. And for those groups, I can get about 8 to 10 people in at one time. And then if they want to progress onto some of the bigger looms, then I can do 4 people at a time, because with those, there's a lot, it's a lot more technical, so you kind of need a lot more hands-on help. And I never like to make people feel like they're in a big group and they can't ask questions. I've done workshops like that before, and you're sat with your hand up, sort of saying, I need some help, and they're just so busy. So it's nice to then keep those ones a bit smaller. So yeah, so it's a great. So I've had lots of people inquiring about doing hen dos for craft things, which are great. And then also just sort of family groups where they come out and they actually do something as a family, but rather than just going sitting in a restaurant or doing something like that, they could come here and have a nice chat. And that's the big thing about the workshops, is it's very relaxed. They could come have a cup of tea, a biscuit, and all of that's all part of it. It's not just what you're making, it's the whole sort of time they're here. That's it's making it special. It's making that whole process of doing the craft enjoyable. So yeah, I love doing a workshop. It's great fun. So
with that as well, with the workshops, they can contact you as well. So it could be a morning, an afternoon, it could be an evening, that kind of. And
that's it.
And with that as well, is there kind of catering involved as well, or?
Yeah, so if it's a special occasion, then I'd say to people they can book it and have a cream tea while they're here and a bit of fizz. So that's really nice. I've had some big sort of birthday celebrations where people have come and then they'll have the cream tea and have a bit of prosecco, and yeah, it's just a lovely way. I then suddenly feel like I'm part of the group, which is great. No drinking the prosecco, however, I'm good with that. But yeah, it's just lovely to be involved in someone's, to make those memories with somebody. And also what I also offer as well is a lot of people will say, well, I've done a workshop, what can I do next? And I've got now quite a few ladies who will come back as sort of regular, sort of every 6 weeks. They'll come back to the studio, we come together, we talk about what they've made, and it's just lovely to kind of know what they're doing, after being here with me initially, to see how their work's developing, because they've invested then, after coming to me, they've invested in all the equipment, all the looms. They've said, yeah, I'm fully hooked, I want to go off and I want to do it. And it amazes me, after 3 hours of someone doing weaving, how they do get completely hooked and they want to carry on. So that's always lovely to be, I'm sort of here as and when people want me, which is lovely. So I can have a real variety then of what I do. So yeah, it's great, really good.
Yeah, and also as like the catering thing, it might be that when you're at one of the events, you might see something go, oh, actually, that would go really well with my workshop, as well as it's all of that, there's all that collaboration that kind of happens, that might be that you can come along and the food element is part of that because you've collaborated with somebody. Who knows? There's that bit of bringing things together. So that customer is getting your workshops and they're getting something else as well as experience. And the hen dos, and just people getting together, isn't it? Of just making something really cool. Excellent. You did say about you could waffle, isn't it? I love that word.
I know, exactly. I can easily waffle all day.
Yeah, I think there's a saying about waffling. I've always, when I'm trying to do the stories and the songs now on whatever, and I think
exactly.
I think I have to find. Is it waffling a song? I don't know. I'll find one now.
Have a look.
So we are back tomorrow with Kathleen Lloyd Textiles. Very exciting to talk to her. I know that she wants to chat to me after this because she just wants to make sure that she knows how to properly come on to the live. So she's asked her friends, but I think she hasn't got an answer. So I'll be chatting to her just in a minute. So just to make sure she's all fine. Like you say, it's very easy to do, isn't it? Just to
it's very easy. I've never done it before either, so and I managed just about. So with our dodgy start, but it was all right.
I kept asking you, and then you say you weren't joining. I thought,
I know it's because we're obviously being out in the countryside. There's not much 4G up here, so it's a bit hit or miss at times. So I thought, oh, please connect, and it was fine. So yeah, we did it.
Exactly. Right, really, really good to see you, and
and
see you in 2 weeks' time.
See you. Oh my God. I know, how frightening is that? Yeah, better get on some work.
It's like on the treadmill. I think with having a June one, I was like, had a bit of space. Now it's like, and then 2 weeks, and then it's on to November, then December. So, but just always ahead. And like you said, the publicising, all of the websites, I've put it all on for October, but I think next week is getting November and Christmas out there, so that people are really getting to know about our, the Christmas events, and November was after Christmas. Right, I'm waffling now.
All right, thank you, everybody.
Have a leave you, and we'll see you in person very, very soon.
Yeah.
Take care.
See you soon. Take care. Bye. Bye.